itself at all to summary. So I'm going to pick out a few points.
And if you could maybe put it up in the cloud.
And I'll put it up in the cloud afterwards, I'd be very happy to. Chris kicked off by talking about the Open University and came up with this wonderful phrase about openness being part of their armoury and making their practice public. And so I had visions of all these OU people on their horses in their suits of armour galloping to a rescue with OER. But this theme of practice is something that did continually come back in the comments. So like the other group, we did move away from thinking about resources fairly rapidly to looking at practices and contexts. We had a really good example from Catalonia with the computer sciences, where within the university there'd be a number of fairly similar courses and fairly similar things happening, but actually coming together to work together to reuse and to share and to coordinate really was strengthening and also, I think, liberating. And in a sense, the idea of open educational resources provided the excuse to start sharing. It gave that impetus to do that. We also covered questions of how we widen participation, increase usage, and get out of the institution. And clearly OERs have a very important role to play there, particularly, say, bridging the gap between school and university, or looking at global projects, perhaps involving sub-Saharan Africa. I kind of offered a contrarian view to suggest that we're moving into a time where, faced with educational cuts and pressures in terms of funding, where we may actually see a narrowing and a closing down. Whilst it's perfectly possible to argue that open educational resources should be very much part of the solution in a time of costing, if we do have a model which is seeing students as consumers who are buying particular services from individual universities and they're discriminating on grounds of price, universities may wonder what they're actually selling and try and demarcate that. So I think there are alternative pressures as well which we do need to bear in mind. And equally, there's lots and lots of questions and issues around the role of academic publishers, who maybe are moving and changing, but they're perhaps not moving and changing as fast as we would like. Looking over my notes once again, it's this theme of collaboration and sharing, and it was emphasised very strongly that we need to see ourselves as learners, we need to be involved, we need to be part of this process. It's no good just talking about it. It's actually got to be embedded in our own practice if we're going to convince anybody else. And I think that's a very strong message that came over. Finally, a couple of other points were made looking to the future. First of all, that open educational resources may well engender new business models. So it's questioning whether we get away from this simplistic dichotomy of open, not open, and there may be actually fruitful areas in between which can be exploited and which can be of benefit to us all. And a separate point is that one of the big advantages of moving into open educational practices is that we greatly expand the educational communities and the learning communities. So we can bring people in, we can involve others, we can engage with real practitioners, we can engage with outside experts. Students can bring their own benefits and knowledge and expertise to bear. So it's a very different picture we're offering. So these are just some of the themes we touched on in our brief discussion, apart from gazing out the window.
Brilliant, Steve. Thanks. Any comments from the rest of the group? Silence. You're not too hungry, aren't you?
Well, I think that we back into our group as well. I think this idea of a simplistic dichotomy, which is a new way of thinking and working, I think is quite a strong theme. Because everyone will still need to survive and make money. Companies will still need to make profits. Education institutions will still need to survive as be economically viable. The idea that we see it as a way of reworking, yes, it's a classic consultancy model where you develop some open source software and you make money for consultancy rather than the actual software. But I think this idea that we can't change the world, we've got to try and produce a transformation within existing sort of cultural and economic practices. It's an important one because I don't think that's where thinking has been up until now. And I think it's quite clear that that's where they'll have to go.
It's interesting that Steve used the metaphor of bringing students in, bringing others in. So it still has the metaphor of us as an institution, and we bring people in from the outside.
Yeah.
Whereas my view is much more on open education resources, putting it out there. It doesn't really matter whether we draw students in or not. Of course, from an economic point of view,
that's not sustainable. I mean, there's been delegate in the UK about this. I think there's no reason why these can't exist in parallel. Again, I think there's a need for this policy, not creating false dichotomies. I think it would be great. There'll always be sort of humanitarian people, including myself, if I could create something that could be used by lots of people, they would benefit. I'd be quite happy to do it without any charge whatsoever. But at the same time, I work for a university who certainly wouldn't expect me to follow that model in terms of their functions as a professor. But there's no reason why we can't do that. I think